Well, good morning everyone. I'm your host Jay, and welcome to another episode of Slop.
So I've been thinking a lot lately about a staple from my childhood and college years. Say it with me, mac and cheese. Did you say it? I can't hear you from over here on the internet. Mac and cheese has been around since at least the 14th century, as it was recorded in a 14th century Italian cookbook called Libra de Cucina in a recipe that was called macaroons, not to be confused with the French pastry, and also that's probably Latin and not Italian or French. Of course, what we're talking about here is that gooey, gloppy slop that only the poor and students can actually like, Kraft mac and cheese. Now, I'm Canadian for anyone that didn't know that who might be watching, and Kraft mac and cheese or Kraft Dinner is actually something of a national dish here. Now that's gross, right? Well, it kind of makes sense because James Lewis Kraft was from Fort Erie, Ontario. Now, a boxed mac and cheese wasn't made by Kraft until 1937 when the Depression was going on, and it was very popular because it could serve up to 4 people for 19 cents, which is about $3.26 today in Canadian money, which is actually what I paid for 2 boxes of this stuff. So I guess it's gone down in price by half, but I mean, who's really keeping track of this?
Now, if you didn't know this, because I didn't, the powdered cheese is real cheese, if not at least cheap cheese. It's dehydrated by melting it down, adding in additives such as preservatives, and then it is sprayed through an apparatus where it's then hit with hot air, dried, and that's what makes that really cheap powder.
And with that cheap cheese powder, you can make plain old mac and cheese, you can sprinkle it on your popcorn, or you could... Yeah, don't do that. That was a really, really bad idea.
But making a plain mac and cheese is just so terribly pedestrian, and we can do better. So since the mac and cheese started out as a casserole, today we're going to make a Kraft mac and cheese French onion soup casserole. So, let's get started.
Well, welcome to another episode of Slop. Today, you're gonna need a whole bunch of stuff to make this, such as Kraft Dinner, bay leaves, garlic powder, pepper, a couple of onions, like say 3 big ones, some fresh thyme, and some bullion cubes. Now you'll probably need about, say, 1 to 2 broken bay leaves, maybe 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, and we're gonna use Jay's secret to making pepper, a giant pot. You're gonna wanna use 2 bullion cubes. I accidentally used 1 beef and 1 chicken, just use 2 beef. There's our spice mix, and the cat watches intently. Don't be fooled by him, he's actually quite evil. Now you're gonna have a lot of fun cutting these up because 1, this knife is incredibly dull, and 2, these things will just make you cry. I don't know, if they're bigger, they're worse. I don't really know why, but you'll see my face in a second. It was horrible. It's the worst. I don't suggest ever doing this, ever. Get somebody else to cut your onions for you. I hated that. And this is what you'll be left with when you're done. An abundance of Satan's candy. Now we'll need to get a pan, get the cat out of the cupboard, get the cat off the counter, get the cat off the stove. Turn the oven on, get the cat off the damn stove, and then we can toss in our onions. Now we're gonna wanna let these saute for probably about 30 minutes. Salt them, shake them up. Now after they're about that color, we're gonna add some whiskey. Now normally you would use a white wine, but to hell with that, I've got this. Give it a good shake, let it cook down, and that's about the color we're looking for. Now we're gonna need to get a pot to boil some noodles. Fill it up with about, say, 12 cups of water. This is just for show, I actually measured this all out. From here, we're gonna let the water boil, and then we're gonna dump in our spice mix. And you can put a cover on that, stir it up, and let it sit for about probably about another 30 minutes, just so you can get all those flavors worked in together. Here, we're gonna need to open up this damn package. It's not gonna be easy. I suggest a knife. Be sure to stab the cheese pack so it goes everywhere. But since we're using 2 packages, you can also try the old fork trick. Yeah, that'll about do it. Dump your pasta in. Make sure to get as little of it in the actual pot as possible, and once it's cooked off, we can strain, and we want to keep all that liquid. Get a colander. Don't do it like I'm doing. I nearly sent this everywhere. Now let's get a bowl to put our macaroni in. Now, you don't want to pour all of the mac in this. You're going to reserve probably about a quarter of what you have left. Now we're going to make a roux. So we're going to need some butter, some flour, and then we're just going to mix those 2 things together. As you do this, remember you never had such a luxurious butter while you were in college. Get them nice and golden brown. And once it's nice and brown, we're going to add in our liquid that we have reserved. And that's going to thicken up a little bit. Don't worry if it's too thin, you can keep it cooking, and then we're going to cover it over top of our mac. Mix it all up. And now we'll add our caramelized onions. We're going to add another layer of noodles to this that have been tossed in our cheese mix, and then bake it at 350. Open the package up, don't snort any. And we're gonna mix 2 packages into our mac and cheese. Now, I would suggest maybe just use one in the future, as you will find out later in the video. At this point, you're gonna need about an hour to let it cook off. In the meantime, you can hang out with your cat, who is a little shit, and then about, say, halfway through, you can dust it with some Parmesan cheese. Make sure to get as much of it not on the casserole as possible, and then lovingly watch it. And after that hour, you've got a beautiful mac and cheese. Alright, so, Internet, this is my girlfriend Renee. Say hello, Renee.
Hi.
And we are about to try this Kraft mac and cheese French onion soup casserole.
It smells good.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, alright, so,
That's a start.
alright, let's get right into it.
It's nice and rich.
It's very rich.
Perfect. And it does taste like French onion soup. Seems pretty classy for Kraft mac, right?
Okay, so I didn't count on just how rich this meal was going to be. And so we ended up going out and getting Mexican food. And I ate this morning for breakfast. I can say it's actually really good, but I was super drunk and couldn't have possibly eaten any more of that without throwing up. So definitely don't drink before you eat this recipe. It is really nice. It tastes a lot like French onion soup, but it also has that macaroni taste to it. Yeah, I guess proceed with caution. It's really nice for breakfast, but again, just don't eat this if you're drunk. And if you like this video, please subscribe, like it, share it, and yeah, I'll see you next week.